All right, everybody, we have a great episode coming up for you. This is what we call a mashup episode, where we are delivering a car at the end that's completely restored and buonissimo, right?
Sure.
And we share with you the story along the way. We just completed a 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner. This car's been with us for over, well, not over, but close, well, not quite 10 years. But it was a big job.
Yeah,
when the car came here, and just to give you a little backstory, this is the car that I took a 1969 Dodge Charger in on trade for. I allowed him a credit for that 69 Charger, and in exchange we did the restoration plus some cash. Yep. Okay. I didn't want to sell the Charger. That was my original intention. But unfortunately, I have bills to pay. You wouldn't know anything about that. Neither would the rest of you guys. But I have obligations. So I was in a situation where I had to sell the car.
They'll bury me in the son of a... I'm calling my attorney right now, and I'm having it put into my will. I'm keeping the car for myself. Whoever buys it's gonna have to have a gun and a mask because it's not for sale. Not everything is for sale.
Now that Charger, the person that I sold the Charger to commissioned us to do a Daytona out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the process. I think we showed it recently. In fact, all the metal work is done, and it might even be that the mud work is done, and now we're getting ready to do the paint work on that. The point is, this little Roadrunner came to us, numbers matching, 446 barrel 4-speed. This car's FC7 in violet, correct?
Yep.
It is a V21 car, which means?
Blackout? No.
Blackout where?
On the hood.
The sport hood treatment.
Yeah, sport hood treatment.
Black interior.
Yes.
And this car belonged to the gentleman's father that we're doing it for. He's had it forever. His dad's gone now. He's restoring the car as, well, it's a keepsake. So the car's taken us a long time between just the fact that we've grown so much over the years. If you look back to the early days of Graveyard Cars and the Pilot when we were working out of a little bitty shop, up to the old bread store at 1720 Main, down to here, we've really grown a lot over the years. It's taken us forever to do this car because of growing pains, because of COVID. We're still, even to this day, we're feeling the pain of it. But when it showed up, it was an absolute mess.
Yep.
Do you remember the car?
Honestly?
Yeah.
No.
Well, and that's, you know, what an executive producer does is have to purge that
There are a lot
information.
of cars.
When that car showed up here, it was really rusty. It was complete, like I say, numbers matching engine, numbers matching transmission, original fender tag, and broadcast sheet. But it was really rough. We ended up doing, oh gosh, go back in my memory. This is the difference, I can remember this. trunk floor extensions, rear cross member extensions, rear body panel, left quarter outer, right quarter outer, full quarters all the way up to the sail. Inner and outer wheelhouses, main floor, under seat pan. I draw a little bit of a blank. I know rockers needed to be replaced, at least sections of it. And I think frame rails, but I wouldn't say that absolutely. I don't want to automatically go to that. But it was a lot of metal work. When it came back, it looked pretty dire straits. But it moved through the shop. They replaced all those panels. After they did the panels, of course, what was the next thing? They get the metal on there, everything but the quarter panels. What is the very next thing that they do to a car?
After metal?
In our flow. Well, it's not completely done in metal.
Oh, okay.
It's had the wheelhouses welded into place.
Okay.
It's had the trunk floor put in it, but the quarters aren't on yet. What is the next thing we do before we weld those quarters on?
We're going to jam them.
We're going to jam them,
Yeah.
that's right. Why don't you explain to the audience what that is?
All right, so you're going to do metal treatment with DP90.
Rust preventative treatment.
Okay, you know, tomato. And so after that, then you're going to, oh, I don't know why do you have a pennies catalog?
1975. This is the last time I was happy.
So, okay, in this case, we've got Brody has been, over the years, what has he been here, 3 years now?
Almost 3 years, yeah.
He started off doing work like this, doing the DP90, and then Will has just progressed with him. And I mean, at this point, he's actually painting.
That's what I had to deal with when I was growing up.
That's sad. So the DP90 is a rust treatment or rust prevention treatment. And then you're gonna do you guys actually do a primer or do you do something other than it's
The
kind of a
DP,
fake
well, you've
primer?
watched this for a decade. The DP90 is a self-etching primer. It's designed to go over the top of metal to prevent it from rusting, but it must be top coated. So once we do the DP90, what is the next step that we do?
The top coat.
And what is the top coat in this particular case with FC7 DBC 2210 should tell you?
No clue.
Base coat, clear coat.
Okay.
Will did all the jam work on it, jammed the outer wheel houses, the trunk floor, up underneath the Dutchman panel, because we can now get up underneath there really nicely. That's very important. We're putting paint where even the manufacturer didn't put paint because we're trying to avoid what happened to that car in its first 50 years of life, rust. So Brody did some of the paint work, the jam work, the two-tone work on this car. He's really coming along nicely.
Yes,
Getting a two-tone laid out right, making sure that you don't have any ghosting, which is where maybe the tape isn't stuck down far enough and you have the black going to the purple or the purple onto the black. Very important that you don't have those. He did a fantastic job. He did that, he did the DP90, you know, to a point where they could get it back over to the metal guys and wrap up that part of it. After we do the jam work on the car, they weld the quarter panels back on it. The quarter panels came out beautiful, right?
They did. Yeah.
Sheet metal all fit really good. Then it was in its final metal stages where they fit the door to the quarter, to the hood, to the fender, to the header, to the rear body panel, to the trunk lid. Make sure all the gaps are where they're supposed to be. We usually like to end up with a little less than 1/4 of an inch, whatever that is, in millimeters, so that by the time they finish putting all of the paint and the bodywork and the filler and the primers on it, we still end up with a really nice 1/8 inch reveal gap. So now when you sit back and you look at the bodywork, it's very, very uniform and it looks very nice. Ready to move over to primer.
So let me ask you a question about that, because people will comment on the overuse of like what they just refer to
Bondo.
as
generally
Bondo,
speaking.
yeah.
Right. Well, that's because they don't know what they're talking about. You have to use filler on a car to get it smooth, okay? What you have to take into consideration is that filler is very, very thin on that car, very thin. And when you look and you see little spots of metal here and a little spot of metal, but a nice blend out of it. Not a big bulbous standing up piece of metal, but you can see that it feathers nicely into the mud. That's what you call peekaboos, little peekaboo shots all over the place, like the peekaboo killer. Remember the peekaboo killer?
I do not
I
remember
just saw a
the
special on the
Peekaboo Killer.
peekaboo killer. Yep.
Is that even a thing?
I guess that's what he did. Yeah, oh yeah. Overall though, I guess he was a hell of a nice guy and a great cook, so who might have passed judgment. Mud did a great job, came out beautiful, went over to Will. Will did the blow apart, the jam work. Got all the jam work done, got it painted, and it came out beautiful. It was 4 coats of clear, 7 coats, I think he says 7 coats of base to cover, and that car just came out gorgeous. They did the wet sand and the buff, which is a very important part of it. Did they wet sand and buff them at the factory?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, they didn't. No, they sure didn't. It was a single stage enamel. What would you?
Oh, that's right. It was single stage back then.
So you go to wet sand it and you're just going to have whatever color, purple.
Right.
You'd have it all over your hand. You'd have it all over the floor. And then when you go to buff it, you'll move that metal around and it'll be all streaky and modelly.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't cut and buff single stage.
Right. Because you're just going right into the
Metallic,
paint.
single stage metallic.
You can cut and buff single stage non-metallic?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you just still have red all over your hands, but there's nothing to streak because there's no metal in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's called
Makes
modding,
sense.
M-O-T-T-I-N-G, motting or mottling.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to look that up, Einstein. Now that car spent a long time in the paint shop before it was ready to be painted. Just something I ought to point out.
Yeah.
And that's because Will has a hard time staying focused, staying on task. It's like between his phone and his goofing around and everything's a big comedy, you know, everything fun. Oh, he wants to be everybody's buddy. He needs to knuckle down.
Maybe if you stayed out of the paint booth a little bit while Will was working, that might aid in his not getting distracted.
I do that for a
Just a
reason.
thought.
That's an education.
I don't think that's educational
Oh,
at
it's
all.
very educational, yeah. So if you don't put them on there, Will, if you don't put them on there, that is fraud and you can go to jail for that.
All right,
Let me tell you
cut.
something.
You commissioned Nick upstairs to put Will's arms coming out of a prison cell and put that on there as though
Because I
it were-
wanted people to have a visual.
There are visuals for sure, but
the visual
most
I
of them
wanted
we
to
have
give
to
them-
like censor when you put them out there.
I believe that laughter is the best education, the best medicine.
You
The best
commissioned-
thing you can do is laugh about everything. You ever laugh at a funeral?
No,
Try it sometime.
I don't think I will.
Yeah, you should.
What's wrong with that?
Well, there's 2 that are supposed to go on there. Unless you want to tell Walter Chrysler he made a mistake and there should only be 1 on there. The Fisher Price man called, wants his hair cut back. All right, raise the car up, Rooster.
Raise the car up.
Here's your chance to redeem yourself, Bubba boy.
All right. I've noticed you had this new way of doing this with a forklift,
Okay, I'm gonna go that way now.
Coming in,
I'm gonna go forward.
coming in.
and you've talked about it before. But what I'm curious about is why are you doing this with the forklift when you were so emphatic about doing it the factory way? I remember back when you guys got the shop crane, back with the AAR CUDA, and you were so excited because you could lift the whole unibody structure over and lower it down onto the drivetrain, just like the factory did. And you did it this way for years.
Is this fun for you?
No, I'm just curious. This is a legitimate
call
question.
Me out for something, for hypocrisy or
why would I
something.
do that?
No, what we have figured is, and I'm going to use some words here you may not be familiar with, having the full articulation of a forklift versus stationary hoist, which can only go up or down, right? With the forklift, we have the ability to tip it down at the right angle, tip it up at the right angle. We can shift side to side. It's a more accurate, and it's easier, and it's safer. This mast is so huge, I can't see past it.
I know.
It's in the spirit of how the factory did it. The factory did raise it up into the car. If you look at some of the original assembly line photos, you'll see that's how they did it. We just didn't have a $20 million piece or $1 billion piece of equipment to do it with. So we use our Doosan forklift, and it works just fine. Works great. So if you're done now, Mr. Hurtful, Mr. Backbiter.
It's a legitimate question. You were very excited about doing it the factory way, and then you
can go
deviate.
on
That's
for a
all.
long time.
Okay.
Run on for a long time.
At least that song is public domain, and we don't have to cut that out.
But sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Wiser words.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. So they are going to finish installing the transmission crossmember. Put the bolts in that. Then they will lower it down and make the upper control arm connections that need to be made. At that point, we'll be able to lower the car down, put it under its wheels, which we have set in here, and it'll be a roller. So back on topic, these are getting more difficult with you all the time. We got the drivetrain in it. It came out beautiful. We were able to move on to the next step. You question me, you question the manner in which I do things, that's fine. Okay, I quote things sometimes, but here's an original one for you. Heroes and villains, sinners and saints. If you didn't have Mark Warman, you'd have to invent him. So why don't you point out where I've taken that from?
You have
Cool
openly
breeze.
said where you've taken that from in an episode fairly recently. That's from Don King.
Heroes and villains, sinners and saints. If you didn't have Mark Warman, you'd have to invent him. And that is Don King.
Who?
Don King.
The guy with the hair?
Yeah, the guy with the hair.
Oh, yeah.
I should get my hair like that, shouldn't I? All up crazy. Like I got electrocuted.
One of the things that happened on this car is because we were so far behind on getting it done, and we had a promise date that we had to keep. We didn't have time to film a lot of the put together, so all we actually have is the door glass going in. There is a process to putting door glass in one of these cars. You have to put it in as a unit. The door glass has to be married to the vertical run channel, which is at the vent, and the vent glass and the vent frame. Now, we always replace the vent frames. Tony Mopar Parts makes those. And so you have to put those together on it, new weather strips. Now you have a vent glass built out, but it has to be connected together with the door glass. In order for the door glass to go into it, one of the first things you want to do while it's off is put the rear vertical run channel on it. So when you see him tapping on that, he's got glass tape in place and he's tapping it down onto there. So you see him hammering it down. It's very careful. If you're off a little bit, you'll break that glass. Taps down into place. Once he has that, he can put it together with the vent frame. So now it's one big unit. He brings it in, sets it down in there, and you have all of the glass in place. But he still has to adjust the vent to the A-pillar, because those are the A-pillar isn't moving. The vent glass can move a little bit, so you have some adjustment there. You have to have the quarter windows put in. The quarter windows roll up into place. That door glass has to meet it perfectly. It has to be exactly the reveal you want while maintaining the reveal at the very front of the A-pillar. So there is a lot of work in that. It's not thrilling work, but Brian's got it down to a science now. We've had some folks here before that didn't do all that great of a job, but he kind of figured out what really needs to be done to it, and he's doing that. So.
Well, the question that this kind of raises for me, though, is that now that Tony's retired, I mean, you guys need these parts. Is his business still going?
I don't know. So Tony retired from the East Coast. He actually lives on the West Coast now. He's Southern California, eats a lot of vegetables. Tony's doing great. Tony's worked really hard. He's like me, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He built a business and he's finally got a chance to retire. However, he didn't find anybody to buy the business, so I think he's kind of just selling off his remaining new inventory, which is a shame because I don't know what we're going to do for so many of the parts. I suppose other companies will pick up making them, maybe OER or Classic Industries. But he's still Tony, and he still, in all fairness, knows an awful lot and probably a little bit more than me.
I would say that that's probably one of my favorite things. I mean, over the years, we've had Tony on the show a lot, and I hope that we're still going to have him on the show, especially now that he lives closer.
Tony came in, I talked to him on the phone about 10 years ago, and told him what we were doing, and I asked him if he wanted to come out and be on the show, and he did. He came right out and kind of taught me some things on the dash speakers. I didn't realize the Cuda and the Challenger, the speaker grills were different, so some stuff like that.
That was the sunroof
Challenger.
Yeah, 1970.
Yep. Plum crazy car. For me, I got to where he's so neurotic and so crazy, and he just hounds you. I just got to playing with him. So, like one thing I got in trouble for was we were a little bit behind on getting his car disassembled.
Oh yeah.
So
you
I had
actually had to hide from him.
I wouldn't call it hide.
I think you ducked behind your door and you crawled in your hands. You literally.
I tripped.
You locked him out of the whole building.
Yeah.
They didn't have the car disassembled. You had told him it was further along than it was. He surprised you and showed up, and then your whole day was spent scrambling trying to distract him with things while Dougie disassembled the car. But then he caught you anyway, so it didn't.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's all in good fun.
My favorite thing about Tony coming out, though, is that there is probably no one else on the planet who can actually call you out on things and correct you on Mopar.
Yeah, sure. He has corrected me on several things, quite a few things over the years. And I give him total credit for that. He is way more knowledgeable than I am on parts, way more. Which is why we always make a good combination, because I know areas that he doesn't know, and he knows areas that I don't know. Nobody knows everything about everything, all right, even if we play that way. But yeah, there's been, I'd say, 1 or 2 instances where he was able to call me out, 3, 4, something like that.
Maybe a little higher.
Yeah, what about the duck seatbelts in the Challenger? Whoop, right it is. All right, getting ready to head out. 70 Roadrunner. Nice. 446 barrel 4-speed. This is a 354 Dana, so it's a track pack car. Got the sport wheel on it, pedal dress up kit, probably can't see it in the video. Love the shifter, greatest shifter ever. Look how long that crazy thing is. Just such great memories as a kid. I mean, it brings it back every time. Don Puzio 70 Charger, RT, 444 speed. See the reverse light? I mean, what can you say? That's just, there's nothing else has anything cool, like no other car. GMs and Fords are rubbish.
Why do you just like take a moment out of the entire otherwise exciting segment to bash on Ford and Chevy?
Well, thank you for asking, Mr. Sarcasm. I will be happy to answer that question. When I think of all the great things about a Mopar, immediately I think of the rubbish that's out there. These guys who used to rub my nose in caca when I was in school. Hey, Warman, what, is that the SS Minnow? Because they're a big car. Dodge typically made a big, your car's a boat. It's a boat anchor. Well, now today, Mopars are the coolest cars on the planet, the most collectible cars on the planet, and I am just rubbing their nose back in the same thing. If you drive a Ford or you drive a Chevy, that's fine. They all made some decent cars, but don't ever compare them to a Mopar, because it's like comparing you and I together. So we're gonna take off from the shop. Motor sounds good, clutch feels good. There's that old Hemi 4-speed whine. Nothing you can do about that. It's an old crash box. Brewers did a fantastic job. I sent this out to them, went through everything, puts in all new synchros, whatever gears are damaged, everything is replaced in it, and it shifts nice. That right there worked really nice.
So I know you talk about the whining noise here, but why is that?
Everything is as peachy keen as it could possibly be in there, but it makes a noise. You might go take another 18 spline and it won't. I think it'll get quieter as it loosens up a little bit, but it's metal on metal, and that's what you get out of it. Where today's cars are a different technology, they don't make that noise. I always liked it. I always thought it was kind of macho. Dash lights are all working. We have great fuel, temperature, oil pressure, alternator gauge right where it's supposed to be. Let's shift down. Very important when you're shifting these things that it'll shift down as easy as it shifts up. Because if second gear synchro is bad, then it'll walk out a second on deceleration. That feels good. That's third. Fourth. Boom, bada bing. Feels fantastic. Even got our little starting instructions over here.
I really like the GoPro shots that you got. They're excellent, but just a tiny criticism. Maybe considering that you're talking about these things and you're rattling off all this stuff that you might
No shots of it.
Yeah, there's no actual shots of it.
Yeah, have you seen the latest footage? I already got all those pickup shots.
Good.
Yeah, I got them before the car left. I knew we needed them, but I'm not gonna take a GoPro and turn it down there so you see my neener area and my legs and everything. This is more intentional. You see the shifter go through the gears, you see the pedals, but you don't have to see my two.
Oh boy. Okay. That's gonna be bleep too. What? Yeah.
You got the engine call out on the back of the hood that tells you it's not a game. 440. If it was a 426 Hemi, that would read Hemi. If it was a 383, it would read 383. Even if it was a 446 barrel, it would say 440, but it would have 6 barrel on the side of the bubble, the bulge on the hood. It ain't none of them Nancy 6-speed things, those silly little squirrel turds. This is an old American crash box. Yeah, that's neck snapping, okay? So no apologies out there. This is a real American car with real American horsepower.
I got a question about the GoPros. So you keep looking over into the passenger seat,
I'll
like
pick my work apart again, okay. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, I mean, you keep looking over like there's somebody there, like you're talking to them, or I don't know, you're acknowledging them, but they're just you know that there's not actually anybody there, right?
You're talking about when I look over and I acknowledge the passenger seat,
Yeah.
but there's not a GoPro or a person there?
Bingo.
I'm well aware that there's not a GoPro there or a person there. It's method acting, okay? It's method acting. I am imagining that I'm having a conversation with the audience. You people, I do this for you, I don't do it for me.
That's not method acting.
Yeah, no, method acting, my friend, is when you go into a role completely, 100%, like Jack Nicholson would do in A Few Good Men.
I don't think that's method acting.
It's a method of acting.
It is a method of acting, yes.
There's second. Let's get this mother rolling. Third gear, drop the hammer, neck snapper. Bad Leroy Brown right there. Feels fantastic. That's the way a car should feel.
You know, watching this footage, what this reminds me of is pretty much the exact same car, but a 383.
You're talking about the 70 Roadrunner 383 FC7 car.
Yeah.
Traveling down the streets of Springfield, Oregon, gosh, 12 years ago.
Yeah, I think
But it was the same car.
it was. Yeah.
Exactly the same.
And that was the first car that was completed and restored on Graveyard Carz. Season 1, episode 4, title was Running Down a Dream.
Running down the dream.
And I'm embarrassed to say, it took me years before I realized the pun.
You didn't know it was a Roadrunner.
It clicked one day.
Now the owner of this car put in a little bit bigger torsion bars, which I hate all that, right? I'm not a fan of it, but he put in the polygraphite lower control arm bushings and the Mopar Performance torsion bars, which are just a little bit bigger diameter than the 780 and the 781. It means you won't have the 780 and the 781 stamped into the back of it. So if you're going to an OE judging, probably going to get docked for that. But boy, does that handle nice. Does that feel good? It holds it when you go into a corner. Really nice driving car. It's fun to see the looks when you're going down the road in this car. You've got people that are amazed at the air grabber. How could something pop up in the middle of a hood with shark's tooths on the side of it? The tight hood pin tie downs, the V21 sport treatment black, turn signal indicators in the back of the hood. You've got the beautiful transverse white reflective stripe on the back with the Roadrunner bird in it, the dust trail down the side, 15.7 rally wheels, Hemi suspension front and rear, replica polyglass F60 15s on the 15.7 rallies. This is America 1970. This is, if you wanted a muscle car in 1970, this is what you walked in and got.
Now, here, folks, is where I thought would be a perfect place to end the episode. He has a good line, he's driving. This is like the perfect punctuation for the end of this whole episode, but
Not funny.
okay, maybe not funny, but still, nice ending. And actually in the original edit that we were looking at, this was the ending. But then Mark saw it and said, wait, no, we gotta add something back in. I went to the bank.
It came out nice. An old-fashioned American knuckle buster, a 390 horsepower, 1350 CFM Holley 3.2 barrel setup with a crash box Hemi 4-speed and a Dana. You're not gonna break them. You could wear them out eventually, but you're not gonna break them. Hear that? Hear that? Hear that? That scare you? Gonna drive over here to my bank, put some of my hard-earned Bunsen burners, sweet little earners in. Know what I'm saying?
Just curious, why exactly are we watching you go to the bank?
It shows the functionality of a car. Yeah, everybody knows who I am here, so. How doing? How doing? They kind of line up around the windows. You can't see it. Okay, we always see them going down the road, rolling through the gear, but you know what? Back in the day, these cars were brand new, and people drove them to the bank. I know you find that hard to believe. They drove them to the bank. They drove them down to the grocery store. They went to the drive-ins in them. I'm just trying to share with people that these cars can still be functional, that they work like a regular car. They're not just a big purple trophy.
Because they can't put that together, you know, figure that out.
I try to give them a visual. All right, here we go.
So part of your extensive testing when driving these cars is to run them through normal, ordinary things like going to the bank while the cameras are rolling, so you can deposit a check.
Alrighty, I'm gonna throw this mother biscuit in there with a card. That's Nick Nolte. Did you recognize it? That's Nick Nolte. 48 hours.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
no,
what are you doing,
I
convict? It's one of my first checks from Graveyard Motors. Had a good month. Oh, maybe I need a license. Sometimes I like. Oh, I'm doing super. How are you? Good to hear that. Good to hear that.
Nice car, man.
Thank you, buddy. Stefan saying what a nice car it is.
I wouldn't say I recognized Nick Nolte. I recognized your impression of Nick Nolte.
Well, it's spot on to Nick Nolte from 48 Hours. Okay, so I don't know how you wouldn't recognize it, but you don't recognize funny things because you don't have that gene. I've met your folks, God rest their souls.
They're still alive.
I tried to deposit that in my online, and as soon as I did, it said, nice try, you're over your deposit limit. So that's why it says that on there.
Got this. Okay, I'll be right back.
Thank you, sir. Earlier, I was trying to put in money in the bank, you know, with the mobile deposit, but the check was too big. Yeah, the check was too big to put in through the deposit. I had to do it.
As the
Couldn't
narcissistic
do
side
it.
just kind of.
Nothing narcissistic,
Well,
just sharing the reality of it, man.
Sure, no.
Yeah, yeah.
That happens to everybody.
Okie dokie. Take this old mother biscuit out of there. Well, they used to give me a piece of candy. Probably have to wait till that check clears to get my candy. Heroes and villains, sinners and saints. If you didn't have old Mark Warman, well, I'm afraid you'd be in a situation where you had to invent him.
I don't know if we
Ooh,
have
look at what
to.
she's wearing in that. Those, remember those?
Oh gosh.
They don't wear stuff like that no more.
So, yeah.
So they call them briefs. All right, let's see if it starts. This is the big embarrassing moment. And it started. Well, folks, that's all for me. Car runs and drives like it should, like a new car, maybe a little bit better, a little bit peppier. Sounds good, feels good, gets looks. It's just it's a flashback to 1970. Showroom floor days. So if you got one of these things in a garage and it's been sitting there for 50 years and it looks terrible, you ought to call old Trey up. Give him some of them Bunsen's you've been holding on to. I'll restore it for you, make it brand new. As long as you got a decade. Hello ghouls, Mark Warman here, the ice tray from Graveyard Carz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey, Alice!